Hey Daniel,
Hey man, how are you?
good. How you doing?
I'm pretty good.
Good to see you.
Thanks.
Fantastic. Well, it's great to see you, and can't wait for a couple of weeks' time. You guys are finally going to be back in Australia again. It's been quite a while since you were here. The last time was for Download, I think, going back several years ago. So it's certainly been a long time coming. Obviously, there's been pandemics and other shit that's got in the way. So it's good to finally have you back down. And Deceivers, which was released 6 months ago or so now, has done some pretty good things for you guys, particularly down here. I think it's the second top 50 release in a row that you've had. So you must be pretty happy with the reception that you're getting.
Yeah, I can't wait to come down there and play some shows for the fans and see, what people think about the album and everything. So yeah, it's been a pretty cool campaign that we've been. It's just that it's been very long and much longer than we usually do. Uh, it's been going on since 2021 now, actually, and the album came out in. We released the first single in 2021, Deceiver,
Yeah,
Deceiver.
feels like so long ago now, but it's
It was so drawn out that once the album was finally out, it just felt like it didn't feel like it used to do. But
well,
we're very
Diamond.
happy with the reactions.
Well, you've got a lot of great stuff on the new album, and it's doing really good stuff. And I know the sound quality is just exceptional. The production is really crisp and clear, and it's got a lot of punch to it. Is there anything that was done differently this time around than what you've done before?
We worked with Jacob Hansen for the first time, and he mixed the album, and I think that plays a pretty big part in how the production came out in the end. But other than that, it's just like pretty much the same procedure as the two previous albums, where we record most of it ourselves, apart from the drums and vocals, and then we just head over to a professional and get it mixed. And but I also think it's because of how the material is, how the music material is a little bit more straightforward, and I think it gives the instruments a little bit more space to breathe.
Yep, absolutely.
That's, certainly, that's the case with the drums, anyway.
Does that make it does that make it easier or more difficult for you if you've got an external producer coming in, sort of taking a little bit more direction?
Not really, because I mean, we talked to him in the early stages and explained exactly what we wanted from him, and you know, we're a pretty self-produced band in that sense. We have our songs done, we got them ready, we record them, and by the time Jacob started working on them, it was purely a matter of mixing the album, but he was more involved in producing the vocal uh, arrangements.
Yeah.
He was heavily involved in that.
Yeah, and you can hear it too, the difference there. And there's a lot more clarity, I think, in Alissa's voice, and there's almost a bit of a pop element to it in some aspects, which sounds weird, but that's just the vibe that I'm getting
Yeah,
out of the tone in her voice.
yeah, she did an incredible job on this album, I think. And like a song like "Handshake with Hell,"
Yeah,
for example, it was written instrumentally, it was finished, and we had some certain ideas that we wanted to try out, but she had her own ideas. Came in with the clean vocals in that breakdown part, and that just took it
mm.
to a whole different level. So
Yeah, it
she,
certainly adds another element to it. And I noticed even on some of the bonus tracks, which I think Diamond Dreamer, the picture cover, which
yeah,
if anyone hasn't heard that, they've got to get their hands on it, because it's like just a real old school hard rock track, and her vocals in that are just incredible.
I agree. Yep, it's cool.
But maybe there's a whole new direction there for Arch Enemy to venture into, mate, hard rock.
I mean, we kind of have that influence in our sound. It's in there somewhere,
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of
but
which,
like, yeah,
Jeff,
go ahead.
adding Jeff to the band, has that brought a new dynamic as well? Because that seems to be a really good fit for both you and Jeff.
Yeah, I think it's working out exceptionally well. Like he's contributing in a big way to the band, you know, like both on the albums and live. And I think like as a unit and as a band right now, we're stronger than we've been before because everybody's kind of relaxed in the place they are within the band, you know, and everything's got a good flow to it now. And Jeff is a big part of that because he's like socially, he's a very easy to get along with, and like, you know.
Yeah, he is. He's a great guy. I've met him a couple of times, and he's a true gentleman. But yeah, I mean, I think I first saw you guys back 2011, 2010, somewhere around there. And the band certainly has shifted a couple of gears up with its live production and also the just the way that the band gels and sounds together on stage. So it really, you seem to be in a groove now that, you know, it's taken this time to sort of get there, but I think you're really in that groove at the moment.
Thank you. Yeah.
So touring must be good to get back out on the road again.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a taste of that in 2022. We did 3 tours. First, we started in the US, Canada, and then we did Europe and South America.
Yeah.
But like warming up for the very first shows after the 2.5 year break, I think it was.
Yeah.
So kind of it was exciting, but it was a bit intimidating because, like, you know, musicians are frail creatures, and I think people started doubting that they can actually do it still that long a time. So,
but I think the hunger is certainly there from both the crowd and the band. So it's great to see the energy that's coming across too from musicians all around the world at the moment. It's great to have music back in our lives again.
Yeah, there's so many tours. I don't know what it's like down in Australia, but it's picking up.
Yeah, it really is. It's fantastic. Speaking of which, so obviously you guys do a lot of festivals, and you're coming down here to play some sort of more intimate theatre shows. What are your preferences in terms of touring? Do you like doing the massive sort of stages on the festivals, or do you like the sort of more intimate theatre atmosphere when you're touring and you can do a longer set?
Well, it's like we got more options when we play the bigger stages and the bigger festivals. We can allow ourselves to have a much bigger production, and in terms of that, you know, like it becomes a different, more like a theater, more like a show that we put on.
Yeah.
But there's obviously a certain distance between the band and the crowd because they're so far away. Like I don't know if you've been to one of those European festivals, but sometimes the front row is like way down there, you know.
Well, I'm a photographer, so I'm usually between the band and the crowd. So,
all right.
So I get the best seat in the house, mate. It's great.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, I think everybody in the bands, everybody in the band appreciates both, you know. When we play the really tight club shows, that's cool when they're sold out and like everybody's there to see Arch Enemy, and then at a festival people come to see, you know, a bunch of bands, so it creates a different vibe.
Yeah, fantastic. I can't wait to see you guys down here, and it's, as I say, it's been a long time coming. You've also, I think, Poisoned Arrow, I believe there's a new video about to drop for Poisoned Arrow just in a few days' time, so we're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
As you say, from the time when the first single dropped to now, it's been quite a period of time there. So it's it's been a long album cycle for you guys.
It's been a different approach this time around, and it came about from the record company. It was their idea to like launch a campaign, you know, a bit more drawn out and do more singles and like hype it up until a point, and then the album comes out. And by the time it comes out, you guys are going to be on the road, you know. So it was a whole concept behind it that I think works pretty well, to be honest.
Well, given the type of band that you are, you're very visually, you've got a great aesthetic visually, and you know, fun and exciting to watch. Making videos, is that something that you enjoy doing, or is it you find it a bit of a drag, or?
I have to say that I don't mind it that much. Like back in the days, we used to uh, be a bit more intimidated by shooting a video because it could just linger on for forever. You know, like you're just shooting over and over again, and then you got to go back there the next day and shoot some more. But nowadays, I think like directors, they know more what they need and they know how to get it better. So we just like it's been pretty smooth, I have to say. We shot all of those 6 videos within 2 weeks or something like that, or 10 days or something.
Jeez.
We got the whole band over to Europe, and then we went to 3 different locations, and we just like shot videos over and over again. So we got it all done.
Get it all out of your system.
Yeah, that was also back in the time when traveling was slightly complicated because of the pandemic, you know. So,
yeah. So just because of the pandemic, given the time that we had sort of in lockdowns of various degrees, did you find yourself sort of writing a lot more material, or were you the complete opposite and just sort of went into your shell a little bit?
At the beginning, I think everybody saw it kind of like a welcome break because we've been touring pretty heavily. And in the beginning of it all, it was creatively very free and very good as well. But the more it lingered on, you know, like the more doubts you got into your mind, like, is it really going to go back to the way it was before? And we were working on Deceiver during that time, and we spent like so much time on it that, you know, you had time to both love it and question it over and over again. And I think that was like a slightly negative aspect, because it's good to have a deadline sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
Just like,
otherwise you can overanalyze what you've done and wonder whether you've finished it or whether you should be adding more stuff to it or whatever.
exactly. Sometimes it's hard to say. If you have an infinite amount of time, it's hard to say when it's time to let it go, you know.
Yeah.
And just move forward.
Yeah, totally get that, mate. Totally get it. And so after Australia, you're heading to, well, you go to New Zealand first. I think there's a date there in Auckland, and then you're coming and doing some shows here. Then you're off to Japan for a little while, I think a couple of weeks there. And then you're having another break and going to the Europe to do the summer festival. So you've got quite a bit on for the rest of the year. It's going to be a busy time for Arch Enemy.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
And what about for the rest of the year? Have you got anything else planned in terms of touring for later down the track in the year, or is it just going to be a time for a break after summer?
I think the plan generally is to come up with some new cool music in some form, shape or form, and eventually record a new album, you know.
Yeah.
So that's the idea. And we don't really have a time set for that yet, but we have been working on it, and we have some ideas. We have some songs and demos. So it's moving in that direction. There's going to be a new album sometime in the future.
Fantastic. Can't wait for that too. So a couple of weeks' time, we'll see you down in Melbourne. I'll be there front and center. And yeah, can't wait to see Arch Enemy back up on stage again. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be nice to see you there.
Yeah, well, hopefully I'll have the camera there, so I'll be able to get some good shots of you on the drums, the drum riser right at the start again.
Cool. I can't wait to come down there, and I'm really, really excited about this tour. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, fantastic, Daniel. All right, mate. Well, thanks so much for coming on and chatting with me, and yeah, see you in a few weeks' time.
See you.
See you, mate.
Bye-bye.